The purpose of my speaking today is not to talk about the heroic efforts of Hatzolah throughout the years. Hatzolah Lamaisa does not need any introduction, although sometimes we do take it for granted. Sometimes we fail to realize that the godless of Hatzolah members is not only the end result, saving lives, but a chelik, a godel of their godless is how they do it. They dash and they race to their mission with an incredible slahavis and a bren and an amazing zrizis. Rain or shine, it doesn't make a difference. In the middle of the night, all hours, 24/7 with a tremendous zrizis, getting dressed quickly. And what about leaving family members behind in the middle of a Shabbos Suda? And what about if you get a call sitting at a Seder, Pesach, and celebrating with the entire mishpacha, parents, grandparents, children, married children? And what about when during the Seder your little tachshetel is saying the manishtano? He practiced it a whole month. And you're shepping nachas with glee, and pung, then in the middle of the manishtano, you get a Hatzolah call. And you have to leave everything behind without question, family, friends, and guests. All that we knew already. All that we knew already about Hatzolah, although sometimes we need to be reminded. However, Rabbi Isai, what is happening now during this terrible crisis is bringing Hatzolah members to an entirely new level. Dashing into the front lines, putting themselves in danger, seeing patients dying every day. Rabbi Isai, we have to realize what that means. Do you realize the Kedusha of a Yid? The Pasuk tells us in Parashat V'Eschanon, V'shomato Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, listen. V'shomarto lasois, and you will keep the mitzvahs of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'shomato Yisrael. Zedach Sam Sofer Dover Nifle. Sam Sofer says that always, of course, we need encouragement in order to be motivated to do the Ratzon Hashem, in order to be Mekayim, Avodas Hashem, behidr properly. The Yetzer Hara throws many challenges in our way to try to block our ability to be able to Mekayim the Ratzon Hashem. But there's a Gevaldig Gula, says Chassam Sofer. Merely mention, say the word Yisrael. When a person mentions the word Yisrael, it means a Yid. Automatically, says some Sofer, a Yid becomes infused with a Gevaldig Kedusha. The idea of merely mentioning the Shem Yisrael, just saying out Yisrael, that itself, Rabbi Isai, will give a Yid a tremendous shot in the arm of Kedusha, and he will be motivated to be Mekayim the Ratzon Hashem. Lashon Chassam Sofer Rabbi Isai is as follows: Shekol kach yiskatshu klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael will become so mekudesh, so sanctified, she'im yishom Hashem Yisrael, that if they only hear the name Yisrael, Yishmar v'yaseh mitzvahs Hashem. Taisha Sam Sofer v'shomato Yisrael. If a Yid merely hears the Shem Yisrael, somebody mentioned Yisrael, that will infuse the Yid, Rabbi Isai, with such a tremendous Kedusha, that Memela, the Pasuk says further, v'shomato lasois, that in fact you will keep and you will do the Ratzon Hashem, due to this added Gevaldige Kedusha that was added to you merely by mentioning the Shem Yisrael. When Hatzolah members save the life of Yisrael, realize whom you are saving. You're saving a Yid who has such tremendous Kedusha that merely mentioning the Shem Yisrael is Mekadesh any Yid that says it, any Yid that merely enunciates, any Yid that merely expresses the Shem Yisrael becomes Gevaldig, elevated in Kedusha. That is the godless of a Yid. It is also Yedua, the Chassam Sofer says another Dover Nifle, and he says that in Parshas Kisiso. We very well known that even though the Mishkan, the Beis HaMikdash, is the Beis Hashem, is the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, That is the place that brings HaKadosh Baruch Hu down to this world. The Beis Hashem, the Mishkan, that's the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Mokem V'Ashrois HaShchina. We all know the halach is that as great as the Beis HaMikdash is, as great as the Mishkan is, building the Mishkan or the Beis HaMikdash is not Doichi Shabbos. Building a Mishkan is not Doichi Shabbos. Building the Beis HaMikdash is not Doichi Shabbos. However, it says some Sefer, but we also know that when it comes to the B'kuach Nefesh of a Yid, to save the life of a Yid, we are Doichi Shabbos. You know what we see from here? What do we see from here? We see from here that the life of a Yid has more Kedusha than the Beis HaMikdash. Building the Beis HaMikdash is not Doichi Shabbos. But saving the life of a Yid, in fact, is Doichi Shabbos. Kedusha Yisrael, Rabbi Sai said the Chassam Sofer, is greater than the Kedusha of the Beis HaMikdash. So please realize, dear Hatzolah members, that every time you save a life, you're actually building the Beis HaMikdash. Imagine having the schus of building the Beis HaMikdash b'zman hazeh. Everybody, Rabbi Say, would run to do whatever possible to have a schus, to have a chelik in the binyan of the Beis HaMikdash. You Hatzolah members, you are doing it every day. The life of a Yid is greater than the Beis HaMikdash. Building up the life of a Yid. Bringing back a Yid to life. Rebuilding the Nefesh Yisrael. You are being Mekayim, actually you are building Botei Migdash on a regular basis. You're building a Beis HaMikdash. It is clearly the dream of every Yid to have the schus one day when Mashiach comes. To have the schus of building the Beis HaMikdash one day. You have it. You Hatzolah members have it every day. Every day you save the life of a Yid whose Kedusha is greater than the Beis HaMikdash. You are being oisik in Binyan Beis HaMikdash on a daily level. Very, very few are Zoiche. Hatzolah members are. Let me point out another Nekudah. In fact, it's not just that saving the life of a Yid is greater than Beis HaMikdash, but Reb Chaim Volozhin teaches us in Nefesh HaChaim, Shar Aleph, Perik Dalet, that in fact every Yid, Rabbi Say, Be'emes is a miniature Beis HaMikdash. He is a Mishkan. Reb Chaim Volozhin teaches the Posik. When the Pasuk says in Parshas Truma, V'asu leMikdash, and the Pasuk is Messiah, you should make a Beis HaMikdash, should build a Beis HaMikdash, should build a Mishkan, K'chol asher ani maro oischa, build it exactly the way that I show you, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm giving you instructions. Build the Beis HaMikdash, build the Mishkan the way I'm showing you. V'chein ta'asu, and so you shall do. What is the Keifaloshin? Why did the Torah say again, V'chein ta'asu? It already says, V'asu leMikdash, that you should make a Mikdash, K'chol asher ani maro oischa. Make it this way. Why does it say again, V'chein ta'asu? This is the way you shall do it. So you know that Chazal teach us in Sanhedrin Daf Design, V'chein ta'asu means L'doiris, which means that not only now, but the basic specifications that I've taught you how to build a Mishkan is not just for now, but also in the future Doiris as well. On the other hand comes Rabbi Reb Chaim Volozhin. In Nefesh HaChaim it says a gewaldige Zach. The Torah, by teaching you the details of the Mishkan, is not just teaching you how to build a Mishkan. It's teaching you how you yourself should build yourself. In other words, the Mishkan represents, Rabbi Say, every Yid in Klal Yisrael. Every Yid in Klal Yisrael, the different components of the Mishkan represent the different Eivarim that every Yid has. And the Torah is saying, you know how a Yid is supposed to look like, you know what the appearance of a Yid should be. V'chein ta'asu, you should be exactly like the Mishkan. Which means is that the life of a Yid should be filled with Kedusha in the same way that the Mishkan. Lashon Reb Chaim Volozhin says, Al tachshavu, do not think, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when I'm telling you to build a Mishkan, do not think that the tachlis is Asiyas HaMikdash HaChitzoni, the outer Mikdash. Build a Mikdash which is made out of eitzim v'avonim, with curtains and so on. Elateidu, but I want you to know, Shekol tachlis ritzoni b'tavnis HaMishkan v'chol keilov. You know what my kavan is when I'm showing you how to build a Mishkan? Rak l'ram is lochem. This is a blueprint. The Mishkan is a blueprint for you. Shemimenu tiru v'chein tasu atem es atzmechem. Shetiyu atem b'maseichem, that you and your maisim should be exactly ritzuyim, should be accepted by me. Ketavnis ha-mishkan v'kelov, in the same way that the Mishkan is. In other words, Rabbi Yisai, Reb Chaim Volozhin is telling us that you, Rabbi Yisai, you become a mirror image of the Mishkan. And Mamele, I want you to know, if Reb Chaim Volozhin is telling us that every Yid is a miniature Mishkan, is a miniature Beis HaMikdash, so realize that just like the Beis HaMikdash had different levels of Kedusha, Beis HaMikdash had different levels of Kedusha. We had the Azorah, we had the Heichel, and we had the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the holiest place being the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So too says Reb Chaim Volozhin in Nefesh HaChaim, Shar Aleph Perek Daled, that being that every Yid, we just said, is a Mishkan, that every Yid is the Beis HaMikdash, the Moyach of a Yid is the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Just like the Mishkan itself has different Chalokim, lesser Kedusha and greater Kedusha, so to the body of a Yid also, different Chalokim have different levels of Kedusha. And it's the Moyach, the brain, the Moyach, in the Rosh of a Yid, that is Mamish the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Different Chalokim of the body have different levels of Kedusha. But the Moyach is the Kodesh HaKadoshim. In the same way that the Mishkan had a Kodesh HaKadoshim, a Yid, who is basically a mirror image of the Mishkan, also has a Chelik, which is the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That is the Moyach. And Reb Chaim said the following tremendous, frightening thing. Reb Chaim says, therefore, a Yid has to make sure that he purifies his machshava. His machshava is a Kodesh HaKadoshim. What happens if a person, Rabbi Yisai, has impure machshava? Says Reb Chaim the following: Be'eis asher yosur ha'odam lachshay bilvavoi. If a person allows to enter in his mind machshava asher loy tohiro, you know what happens? If a person allows his machshava to entertain impure thoughts, you know what happens? Harehu machnis zoyne bebeis kodesh HaKadoshim. Hafla v'fela. Frightening. Like bringing in a zoyin in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. You think of anything worse? Bring a zoyin in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. A Yid's moyach is a Kodesh HaKadoshim. And if he has impure thoughts, it's Ki'ilu is bringing in a zoyin in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So you, Hatzolah members, Tayyar Chaverim Tzadikim, you're avoided when you go out on a Hatzolah call. You are like a Kohen Gadol going into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. A Yid, Rabbi Yisai, possesses the Kodesh HaKadoshim. His mind is a Kodesh HaKadoshim. When you're saving a Yid, you're saving the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Who enters the Kodesh HaKadoshim? Only the Kohen Gadol we know has the right, and only once a year, to go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. But you Hatzolah members, every Yid that you are saving on a daily basis. So you are entering the Kodesh HaKadoshim of a Yid. You are like the Kohen Gadol or Rabbi Yisai going into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Each and every one of you is a Kohen Gadol. The mask and the gloves and the protective gowns, Rabbi Yisai, these are your big day kahuna. These are your big day kahuna. I want to tell you, one of the very shilas among the many shilas that come across my table was a shilah from a Choshev Rav. The shilah Rabbi Yisai was regarding a Yid who had a very unusual hobby. The unusual hobby was that he would collect respirators. Not kidding. The Yid would collect respirators. He had a number of respirators. I don't know the number, 5 or 10, whatever it was. Hatzolah found out about it. Hatzolah found out that this Yid has a number of respirators. So sometimes, you know, there's a shortage. So they came to the Yid and they asked him, please give us a respirator. And he did. It's Hatzolas Nefashis. As much as he has a hobby, saving respirators, in spite of the fact it's very expensive, he gave it up. After a while, Hatzolah knew that he has more. They needed another one. So they came to the Yid and said, please allow us to have a respirator. And he gave it. Hatzolas Nefashis. He gave up the respirator. Till it came down to the last respirator that he had. Here he was reluctant to give it up, unless the halacha would say he has to give it up. What was his shaila? Being that he has only one respirator left. Who knows, chaz v'sholem, he may need it himself. Nobody knows Ma'yulad Yoim. Nobody knows when the virus is going to strike next and whom it's going to strike next. Mamelech Hadashon, if it happens to him, he wants to leave that one respirator for himself. And he added, and even though he's not that old, but he does have an elderly grandmother who is most vulnerable, and who knows if something happens to her, he wants to have a respirator ready. He's reluctant to give it. And the Shaila was asked, is he mechuyev to give up the respirator, or is he allowed to save it for himself and for his family? It was a difficult Shaila, and I had to answer, and I said to him, listen, unfortunately, this is the matzav, and maybe it's a schus. Being that there's a choila lefanenu now, the fact is now there's a choila sheish b'skon, if you don't give him the respirator, he's going to die. So it means you have the prayer to save a choila who's dying now. If you don't give him the respirator, he's going to die. What's the deterrence not to give the choila respirator and let him die? Because maybe next month you might need it. Maybe you'll never need it. It's a suffix that may never happen. You cannot allow a choila to die that's right now who needs it. It's a matter of life and death right now. You have to give it up. But I gave a bracha. I gave him a bracha and I said that b'schus, that you're being mevater, you're giving up your own respirator, that Bez Hashem will be a shmira to you in your time mishpach. You shouldn't need it. And therefore I say also to you Hatzolah members, tzadikim chashuvim, yes, b'schus that you go out for kuach nefesh, Bez Hashem yishmar tzeischo v'yecho, meyato v'yad olam. You know, on Shabbos, the Gemara tells us, Shabbos Yud Beis, we don't cry out. We are not mispalel, even the Mishaberach is different. And we say, Shabbos im melizoik refuah kroi v'lovoi. We say, Shabbos does not allow us to cry out. It's Shabbos. But refuah is closer to come by. Refuah kroi v'lovoi. What is the hemshich advarim? Ein b'marsha rabbi sai. Givaldi giver to the marsha. Shabbos im melizoik. Shabbos does not allow you to cry out. So a person might think that he's losing out. That being that Shabbos is not letting him cry out to Kadosh Baruch Hu, so now he's going to lose out. He's not able to be mispalel for a refuah to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbos does not let him. So Mele, he feels that he's at disadvantage. Say Chazal, no, a refuah kroi v'lovoi. The fact that you're doing up halacha, you're not crying out in schus of Shabbos, the refuah is going to come even faster. Don't have a havim in it. By keeping to halacha, by sticking to halacha, by abiding to halacha, that you're losing out. Forget. By being mekayim Shabbos, imelizoik b'schus of Shabbos, that you're holding back and not crying out, which is the natural thing to do. Not only you're not losing, the opposite, you're gaining. Refuah kroi v'lovoi. Refuah is going to come even closer, Rabbi Yisai. You're not going to lose out at all. So too I say to you, Hatzolah members, understand that Chavishol you will not lose by going out to be matzil nefoshes. Even though it's very serious times, it's a dangerous mission that we're going out in our time. But b'schus hatzolas nefoshes Rabbi Yisai, Bez Hashem will be zoiche to Yeshuas and refuas and to all the brachas amurat b'Torah. I want to tell you one more thing. There's an amazing thing. They brought down the Sefer Nesivei Yeshurin, who is the son-in-law of the Slonim Rebbe, the Nesivei Shalom. There's a moshel Yedua that we say a tremendous difference between the Yam Kinneret that has gebenched Rabbi Yisai with a lot of bracha. On the other hand, we see the Yam HaMelech Rabbi Yisai, which is the Dead Sea. It is dead, it has no life. In other words, there are two Yamim. There are two bodies of water in the Gevulas of Eretz Yisrael. This is on one side, Kinneret is on the north, the Yam HaMelech is on the south. We have two bodies of water, Rabbi Yisai, which are mamish, hepech lehepech min hakotze lekotze. Completely two opposites. Mitzarechot, you have the Yam Kinneret, full of sweet water, many different species of live fish, and beautiful trees, peras genoisa, Chazal say, are basically trees growing on the banks of the Yam Kinneret, full of life, full of bracha. And on the other hand, on the other side, we have the Yam HaMelech, whose waters is not right to drink, There's no nefesh chaya, there's no sign of life at all. And around it is a midbar shmama. It's a wasteland, nothing grows there. Why Rabbi Sai? Why Rabbi Sai, the Yam Kinneret full of bracha? And yet the Yam HaMelech, Rabbi Sai, is the Dead Sea. There's no life, there's no chayim. And the answer was given, Rabbi Sai, an amazing answer. You realize that the waters of the Yam Kinneret, it receives water from the Yarden, from the Jordan. The waters of the Jordan River, Rabbi Sai, flow into the Yam Kinneret. But the Yam Kinneret, Rabbi Sai, the water of the Yam Kinneret continues to flow further. In other words, the Yam Kinneret does not keep all the water for itself. But the water of the Yarden that flows into the Yam Kinneret continues to flow further until it reaches the Yam HaMelech at the end of the line. The Yam HaMelech does not give it further. The Yam HaMelech is a mekabel, but it's not a noising. When someone, Rabbi Sai, is only a mekabel, he's the taker but not a giver, there's no bracha. That's why the Yam HaMelech, Rabbi Sai, is dead. It's a Dead Sea. On the other hand, the Yam Kinneret, Rabbi Sai, is a mashpia, it's a noisen. It's a giver. Does not take all the bracha for itself, does not take all the water for itself, but continues to allow its waters to flow further and further and to fill up other areas. And Mamela, that is the Nekudas Advarim, Rabbi Sai. That is the secret of bracha. When someone, Rabbi Sai, is a noisen, someone is a giver, someone is not simply a taker, but rather he's a noisen. He's a mashpia. He is zoichet to bracha. He is surrounded with bracha. I say to you, Meirav Rabbi Sai, you Hatzolah members are the greatest givers. There are no greater givers than you. You sacrificed your own life for others. And what are you giving? You're giving the gift of life. You're giving the gift of life. B'zchuzeh, I guarantee you, Bezes Hashem, that your life will be surrounded with chayim and bracha. You will be filled with overflowing bracha like the waters of the Yam Kinneret, because it continues giving and giving. I want to be Messiah. I want to conclude my remarks to the wives of the Hatzolah members. I want to say to you, you are the women, you are the wives of the Hatzolah members, that you are the Noshim Tzidkoniyas Shebedor. You are superhuman, absorbing disruption in your life every day. Not just every day, but every moment. Because the next call can come any moment. Especially now in times of crisis, with a life-threatening virus. What's impossible, Rabbi Sai, what's more impossible to believe, that you, the wives, are not just tolerating the matziv, but you understand that your husbands were chosen by HaKadosh Baruch Hu for this very special mission. You have to be worthy, Rabbi Sai. You have to be worthy to be a Hatzolah member. You have to be Zoiche. Not everybody is Zoiche. And I want to just mention just a very short piece of Gemara. It's a gewaltige Gemara, Masechtas Tainis Daf Chof Aleph, an amazing Gemara. The Gemara tells that there was a person at Tzaddik, his name was Abba Umne. Abba Umne was a doctor, he used to do Hakozas Dam those days, he used to do bloodletting. And Abba Umne had the gewaltige Chus, says the Gemara, that have Osele Shlomo Mimesifte Drekia Kol Yoima. Imagine, when the Shemayim came, Rabbi Sai, greetings. Shalom Alecho Abba Umne. Hafla V'Thela. He was Zeicher to receive a Shalom Aleichem Min HaShemayim every day. Abaya, the great Abaya, Rabbi Sai. The great Abaya, the greatest Marbitz Torah, whose Torah we learned today at the Yom. Abai was only Zoiche Kol Mala Yoim the Shabbos, only Erev Shabbos. Abba Umle would receive Shalom Aleichem and Hashemayim every day. He was a doctor. On the other hand, Abaya, the great Abaya, the Yesod of Torah Shebal Peh, the transmitter of Torah Shebal Peh, he would receive Shalom Aleichem only Erev Shabbos, and Rava even less. Rava Kol Mala Yoim de Kippureh. Rava would only receive Shalom Aleichem on Erev Yom Kippur, Rabbi Sai. Says the Gemara, have kachol shedat abai bayit chalishas alev. Abai chalishas alev mishum Abba Umne. Why? Why Abba Umne receive Shalom Aleichem every day? I only receive it Erev Shabbos. So they answered min hashemayim, because motzis lemevet kuvdei, because you are not capable of doing what he's doing. Said the Marsha, And Likutei Moharan, Reb Nachman Breslev, he says in Likutei Moharan, Chelif Kalef Simla Madalit. It means to say is that Abaya, you have a different tafkid in your life, and Abba Umana has a tafkid. Your tafkid is to be a Rosh Yeshiva, but you cannot do what he does. His tafkid is to be a Reifa, his tafkid is a Reifa to heal people. He has a different schus in doing what he is doing. You are not able to do what he is doing. Your tafkid in Shemaim, your mission is to be a Rosh Yeshiva. Rabbi Isai, every person in this world has his tafkid. No Rosh Yeshiva, you hear Hatzolah members what I'm telling you. And listen wives, listen Noshim Tzidkonius. No Rosh Yeshiva with all the shiurim in the world can do what your husbands are doing. Only they were given this chusman Shemaim Rabbi Isai to be matzal nefoshes. And you, Noshim Tzidkonius as well, were also chosen by Kodesh Baruch Hu to be the Ezer Kenegdoi and to be a shutef to this greatest mitzvah of all. You, Rabbi Isai, you are on the front lines as well, no less. And I strongly believe, when Chazal said that b'schus Noshim Tzidkonius shebedor nigalu avoseinu miMitzrayim, that we were zeiche to be redeemed from Mitzrayim, the schus of the Noshim Tzidkonius, they meant you. Chazal meant you, they meant women like you. Yiratzin Shakori Baruch Hu, who the Shomer Am Yisrael Oad, should protect you and your families and your mishpachas and all of Klal Yisrael. V'chol ha'machlo shesamti b'Mitzrayim le'yosim alecho, ki ani Hashem roifecho. And we should be zeiche limnoya mashchis u'mageifa mo'aleinu v'chol amoy beis Yisrael b'bias Mashiach tzidkeinu b'mher b'meinu amen.